Welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Axe Sales Podcast. I am your host, Nathan Ware, founder of Axe Sales Recruiting. Pretty excited about this week's episode. We will have Mr. Klassen, business coach and strategist on this episode. Finally was able to connect with Mr. Klassen. Our relationship is actually relatively new. Recommended to us through a mutual friend. So very excited that we were able to connect and have our initial conversation and actually share that with you and our audience. So like I had mentioned, Jay is a business coach, in particular helping people really in that space of transitioning from maybe working full-time and part-time on their business, or overcoming any milestones or major humps that they need to, be it mentally or strategically or a combination of the two. So in this episode, Jay gets fairly vulnerable and likes to share with us his life and his experiences. How he arrived at business coaching was not a straight path, as usually is the case with entrepreneurs, but I'll let him tell that story in this episode. Even in this episode, he actually had an epiphany fairly recently about the particular niche market that he's going to be targeting. So ladies in particular, ladies in the entrepreneurial small and medium business realm, you're definitely going to want to tune in. But anyone who's in a side business, small and medium business, or looking to gain some nuggets, you're going to want to hear what this gentleman has to say. So this is this week's episode of the Axe Sales Podcast with Mr. Klassen. Hope you guys enjoy it. So Jay, I appreciate you hopping on here and taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us on the Axe Sales Podcast. Really, this platform is just an opportunity to highlight some individuals that I've taken notice of, and I know we're recent friends on Instagram, but been kind of following you and paying attention to what you've been up to on Facebook for some time now. Actually, how I learned about you was a mutual friend. I can't think of who at the moment. I had attended the 10X conference in February with Grant Cardone.
Okay, I was there.
Yeah. So they had mentioned to me, "Oh, you got to connect with this Jay guy. He's over there and he's always doing stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, well." Once I got there, there was no hope in actually finding you and connecting with you. It was a jam-packed event.
Yeah, 35,000 people, so that would have been a little difficult.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I connected with a lot of people from all around the world at that event, just through social media and the hashtag 10X and stuff like that. So I made sure I added you and been following you a little bit now. And, I think what you're doing is pretty interesting and would love to learn a little bit more about it. I noticed that you're doing, I guess, business coaching and consulting in some capacity. And this probably wasn't something you were always doing, is the impression I get. You kind of had an epiphany moment and now this is what you do. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it is you exactly do from a business consulting standpoint.
Okay. All right. Well, Nathan, thanks for having me here today. That's awesome. Yeah, you've pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. It's been multiple epiphanies throughout my life to kind of lead it to where we are right now. There's no summary of one big moment, and it all depends where you want to go. We can go way back, or we can just take it from the last shift, really.
Sure. Well, why don't you tell everyone kind of what you're doing right now? And from there, we can backtrack to how you took those steps, or those. Absolutely. Maybe we can touch on some of those moments if you're willing to share some of those personal stories on what led you here and what your mission is now and what you're trying to do.
Okay, for sure. Where I'm at right now, so I am a business coach, as you mentioned, and I actually like to call myself a bit more of a business strategist and consultant, per se. The coach, there's a lot of different definitions when it comes to coach. Often they're the people who are listening, and I'm a bit more the person who's going to tell you how to do it and what you should do next. So that came along the way in a little bit of a self-discovery mission, but in that, yes, I'm a business coach, strategist, consultant, and what I'm doing is I'm working with entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs become sought after and credible in their business so that they can command high ticket prices, get more money, get more clients. And that's where I've niched down to at this point.
Cool. Okay. So how broad is your business? You've mentioned you're going to be in San Diego, I think, for 10 days. You told me. Maybe I'm wrong. You're all over the place. It sounds like. So, like, who are some of your customers or clientele, I should say, and how are you developing this business North America wide?
Well, I'm heading to San Diego tomorrow to actually work with people in the similar field. It's more of a mastermind retreat with other people in the same, doing the same thing under our coach and mentor. So that's going to be really cool. We've got an awesome place outside of San Diego, out on the ocean. So great minds coming together and helping build our business. That's always been a bit of a dream of mine, is just to build a business that I can travel with. I can work from anywhere in the world. And who I'm working with right now, as a matter of fact, is more service type entrepreneurs, people who I'm working with coaches. I'm working with other consultants to help them become sought after and credible in their business so that they can get seen and get noticed. I'm working with personal trainers. I've had mortgage brokers. I've had chiropractors.
Cool.
I'm working with a woman right now who's a wedding planner. The list goes on.
Awesome. So how are you attracting these people?
What do you mean? How am I tracking them?
Yeah, like how are you attracting them?
Oh, attracting them. Yeah, I thought you said tracking them.
I'll just not to interrupt you, Jay, but like, you know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing there's a big trend in online coaching for all sorts of different niches and expertises per se. So how do you come through the noise that's out there? Because it sounds like a lot of people are quote unquote experts these days, and I just find there's a lot of noise out there. What are you doing to break through that and bring on some of these small and medium businesses as clientele?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, is breaking through the noise. And you just mentioned you seem to be a lot of people who are experts, but I find it's actually a little bit of the opposite. Not enough people are experts.
Yeah, exactly.
In their field. They are generalists. They're jack of all trades in their businesses. That's why they're not getting seen. That's not why they're getting noticed. And most people are afraid to really narrow down and work with one specific audience, right down to a specific gender, because they're afraid of losing the little people along the way. But it's really the people that are specializing in one thing, becoming an expert, getting extreme clarity on their business, who they want to work with, who are doing the best, who are going to command the highest prices, and they're going to get noticed above anybody else. And really, the trick to that is just getting noticed. Social media is in front of us right now. That's an amazing opportunity. There's a lot of people who are turning to automation first, and you don't even need to do that to get started.
Yeah.
You just need to get out there, get seen, build content. And you just mentioned 10X and Grant Cardone, and what did he say? Money follows attention.
Yeah.
Right. And that sticks to my head. And like I say, the most seen make the most green. Yeah. So
I like that.
Why do you think movie stars make so much? They become, and everybody knows them. I'm at the point now, I literally walk into networking groups. I was mentioning it this morning, where everybody knows my name and I don't really know anybody in the room. And that's not my ignorance. That's just a lack of them being exposed.
Right.
And I think in this day and age, you can't hide behind your business anymore. You have to be the face to your business.
Very true.
100%.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Coming out of that conference, not to shine too much light on it, but I don't know if you've noticed a gear shift even in my business and my social media content. I really decided to amplify that, and you have to, because there's a lot of people trying to offer a lot of similar services or a variety of services out there, and people are kind of becoming numb to content. So how you counterbalance that is with quality and volume in that content, and hopefully making sure that you come through as exactly what you want to be, a niche expert. Like you said, I'm in 100% agreement with being a niche expert instead of a jack of all trades. It's too broad. Narrow it down, find the tribe that is going to be buying into what you have to offer, and run with that. How long have you been doing business coaching?
I started, in fact, not that long ago in what was 2017.
Okay.
So I'm only about 2 years in at the moment.
Wow. Awesome.
However, that came from a background of running my own construction business for 15 years.
Okay.
And I also had a home inspection franchise. I had actually multiple renovation companies. And before that, I was always managers and leaders in all the companies I was in. So I basically was able to take the best of all that information and package it into what I know now. And I did actually, funny enough, 15 years ago when I started my business in construction, I found the power of niching and specializing in one thing. Literally, in the sense of the terms, jack of all trades is how I started in that business, where I was building fences, I was building decks, I was finishing basements, I was doing bathrooms, I was doing painting, and I was having a lot of trouble. I was making okay money, probably worked twice as many hours, and just really owned a job at the end of the day. Yeah. Nobody running after me and chasing me down, until I discovered one thing, which in fact was doing the basements. Something I was really good at. People wanted to pay a lot of money for it, and it was something that I can scale and basically call myself an expert. Yeah. And the moment I did that, my business shot to 7 figures within about 2 years.
Amazing.
So I know right there. I remember I even had the neighbor hanging over the fence, and he's going, "Jay, I don't get it. Your signs are everywhere. How do you do this?" So just pick one thing and just get good at it.
That's awesome.
Advertise the hell out of it. So
yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. So, I mean, for people listening who are maybe in that idea phase or maybe struggling in their current model, you heard it from Jay. I'm in complete agreement. Find out what you can carve out as your niche and area of expertise, and don't be afraid to, leave quote unquote money on the table or other areas that you think you could be drawing revenue from or clientele from or customers from. Don't worry about it. Just be that expert in that one particular area. And you heard it from Jay. His business shot up when he focused on business or basements rather, instead of full reno of a house. So,
yeah. And that's okay. I mean, we all have to figure out what we like, what we don't like. And I think it's hard to jump right into any business and say, I'm going to specialize in this right away. You have to dabble. You have to taste it. You got to see, for one thing, who has the ability to pay?
Yeah.
Who's going to do this on a consistent basis? Who's willing to pay you for your service? And what are you really good at? And what do you love doing? If you don't really have that combination, you could love what you're doing and be really great at it. But if you don't have an audience that's willing to pay for it, well, you got to kind of tweak that. And that's really what I help people do. I mean, we're on a great topic. This is exactly the foundation of my consulting services, is getting people niched and specialized.
Right.
So fast forward to even this business.
Yeah.
It went wide to begin with. This is not how I started. It was really a blend of personal development with business coaching, bring the two to one, because I found in traditional business coaching, that was one thing that was lacking severely, because we have all the books, all the programs, all the strategy on the planet. So why isn't everybody in business rich?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's their psychology in the way.
Yep.
And when I realized that there's a whole lot more to this backstory, because I did grow that to 7 figures, but I also killed it too.
I want to hear that. I'm just going to turn on a light. So I want to hear that story too when you're ready, but if you're still on a talk track, that's the important part too, man. Like, people think, people will look at you and be like, oh, this guy figured it out, no problem, and is just running with it. There's a lot of trials and tribulations, and I'm sure a lot of failures and heartache back there. And so you got to where you're at.
I'm sort of that 20-year instant success, as I say.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, and still learning every single day. So as I was saying, I wound up killing that business, and that was me just not taking responsibility for my life. I let life get in the way.
Yeah.
With personal stuff, relationships, family, things like that, and I became a bit more of a victim in my life at that point.
Yeah.
And was shifting put all the responsibility on everybody else.
Yeah.
For my success and my issues, my problems, you name it. And I went for traditional business coaching. At that point, I was desperate for answers. And, you know, we walked through a pathway and a strategy, but nothing was working.
Mm-hmm.
What I really came across later was just stuff on personal development, seeing stuff online and mindset and whatnot. And I just started going down that road.
Okay.
There's another whole long story.
Yeah, the personal development.
I'll tell on another day. However, when I discovered that really most of our success is really how we think, I got really, really obsessed with that information and transformed everything about me, down to the point where I realized I actually wanted to kind of get out of that renovation business and start teaching other people this information. But what I had uncovered was a gap in the business coaching that needed personal development and the mindset fill. Because like I said, I did business coaching, but none of it was working. And the reason why is because I didn't have my head on straight.
Okay.
Right. So when I figured out how to take responsibility, how to create new disciplines in my life, new habits, I was able to start leveling that business back up, right back up to where it was. Right. And in fact, I got so obsessed with it, I decided I wanted to get into coaching, business coaching, blend the two, personal development, mindset, and build one ultimate package. Since then, it's I have niched it down. It was a bit more of a mindset program, and now it's narrowed down to more of a business coaching, but all the fundamentals are all still in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were your first client.
100%. That's what I always say. Who's your ideal client? I'm like, it's the past you.
Yeah. Awesome.
The past self.
Awesome. So what were you doing before your own business, even on the reno side? Like, what'd you study in school? Did you go to school? Like, what path did you think you were going to be on? Family, marriage, anything like that? Like, before this huge pivot, like what happened with your 7-figure business? I know you blew it up, I guess, with your reno business, but like, where did this come from?
Okay. Well, good question. I was raised well into that traditional mindset of grow up, go to school, get the job, get married, have kids, and by the time you're 40, you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Well, that day never came. So quite the opposite, in fact. You know, I was sold that lie.
Yeah.
And I went through school probably with ADD, never did well, got terrible marks, wasn't the type that I could sit in a classroom, but I was always really good with my hands. Mm-hmm. But again, we weren't really taught back then to follow what we love or what we're good at. Mm-hmm. We're told to go to school, you know, pick something out of the book and that get your education, and that will be your career. So I wound up leaving high school. I went to college and I took lawn security, literally picked something out of a book, said, oh, maybe I'll be a cop.
Okay. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Back up though, leading up to that, I was in automotive. Okay. So I was building engines, I was driving fast cars, I was at the racetrack every weekend. So good with my hands. But then again, I wasn't taught to believe that was something I could, have a career at. My father was white collar, worked in high tech, and I thought that's what I had to model.
See, I was going to be like, your dad probably was good with his hands, and
he was.
He went, okay, he was, but he went the white collar route. So he's a multifaceted guy. He's
white collar, VP, presidents of his own consulting firms way back when, but he was always a very good handyman around the house. He built the decks, the basements, the trios, like he did all that kind of stuff. So I think I picked up that knack along the way. Yeah. So I went to college, dropped out of that right before graduation. I just said I couldn't do this, dabbled in back into automotive for a bit. God, this is a long story.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
Yeah, wound up with, into a relationship that didn't work out, landed back in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
And without a job, without a girlfriend, I bought my first house at 22, lost that. Back in my basement at my parents' house, and man, I think they just they wanted me out.
Yeah.
So
sorry to interrupt you, but where was your headspace at this point in time? Like, I mean, you were clearly a way different person than you are today.
It definitely wasn't where I am right now. I was just surviving. I was just doing what I thought I had to do. There was a calling. again, battling the internal desire versus what society and parents expect of you.
Yeah.
So I started going down that road. Being at home in my parents' basement, I learned my dad had all these computer parts laying around, and I was able to build myself a computer. I've never done that before.
Okay, you just did it?
I just did it. I built a computer out of my boredom.
You're employable, man.
And that was the birth of the internet. This is the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So I wound up sitting, with my old 16K modem or whatever it was back in the day, dialing in and spending all night in these stupid chat rooms, and just somehow I got good at it, and I got hired at a high-tech company.
See, that's what I was waiting for. I said you'd be employable, and you were.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
Now I was
wait.
amazing.
You got hired by a high-tech company without any formal education saying you actually knew what you were doing. You could just demonstrate that you could do it. And
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was. The company wanted some help to put some computers together for people's desktops, just go in and assemble. And I just got to know people in there. They liked me. I demonstrated my capability, and I got a full-time job out of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a great, in my mind, that was success. I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm making good money. But it was, once I got over it,
yeah,
I was miserable.
Yeah, it was still just a job. Probably better than what you thought you'd be able to do at the time, or get your hands on at the time.
Yeah, it came to a point where I was going up the ranks, and I was team leader years later. But on the technology side of things, I wound up having to start faking it for quite a while, like I was a better manager than I was a software guy. Maybe I should have stuck to hardware, but software was not my thing.
Gotcha. So in that space, you started to figure out that you liked working with people, or developing people, or managing people.
Yeah. Well, in all the previous jobs that I had, I was always in a management leadership position, even working behind the desk in automotive, where there's a bunch of sales guys around me. I was the team leader. Right. I was never good at taking direction from anybody.
Yeah. You both, man.
Never good at
herding cats, entrepreneurs. It's herding cats.
So I think there has to come to a point in your life where you got to take all these pieces, and I did do that, and figure it, uncover what your purpose is. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. Go deep. What am I good at? What do people like me for? What do people hate me for? Right. I have just as many haters as I have lovers.
Absolutely.
But it's all one common thread.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I decided to get into doing what I'm doing right now.
Right.
But there was that desk job, and I remember looking. I lasted about 6 years behind that cubicle.
Yeah.
And I remember looking out the window thinking, man, jumping from this 10th floor right now would be a better end to my day than sitting in this cubicle till 5 o'clock. And I knew I just had to go. I had to make a shift. I knew I wanted to be self-employed. Again, without really having the personal development or having the right mindset, an aware mindset, I was doing all the right things. I got in touch with what I love doing, which is construction. And, jumped into that, never looked back, left my 5-figure job, well-paying 5-figure, brand new house, wife, 2 kids at home, risked it all, and jumped into the reno gig.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what did people think when you decided, hey, you know what? I've always been a handy guy. That's kind of who Jay was and known for, and maybe expected to continue to be. You're like, I'm going to get into coaching people. Was there a lot of resistance from family, people close to you? What were people thinking when you made that shift or decided to make that shift?
Well, family are always different, because I think family wants to protect you. And are you sure? They just saw a good thing going, and why would you give that up? Mm-hmm. Right? And you know what was very interesting? When I came, when I had my revelations and I told all my friends this is what I wanted to do, they said, we can't see you doing anything else. You've hit the nail on the head. That's you.
Awesome. That's
totally you. And so a great validation, because in those transitions, you kind of need that sometimes.
Yeah.
but it felt right. I knew it was right. Like I said, I went on a purpose discovery mission just went deep. Who am I? What am I here? What am I meant to do? I'm here to inspire people.
Right.
Get people playing at their top level. And as much as I can pull an engine apart, I can pull a house apart. I can pull somebody's head apart too.
Yeah.
Get in there deep and mess around and build it back up.
Hopefully for the right reasons.
All for the right reasons.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Okay. So how do you work with people? Are you doing a lot of this stuff over Zoom, like we're talking right now, in part on this podcast, or in person, on site? How do you deliver your services?
Exactly as we're doing right now. So I love Zoom. It's a time saver.
Yeah.
We can, I have people who are looking to leave their golden handcuff job right now, and they're sneaking to the lunchroom and getting on their Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and trying to build a business for themselves so they can get out of working for other people and finally take control.
Yeah. Is that your marquee clientele? Those people kind of sitting on the fence where they're like still fully employed, they've got a side gig or business that they're working on, and they're either transitioning, that's a big mental hump to get over. Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there again, because although, my niche market, my target market is really that getting started 1 year, 2 year in, spinning your wheels, not sure what to do next. You've got a few clients, but things aren't growing. I can definitely help you get there. But a lot of people, when they get started with me, the reason is they don't like what they're doing. That's why they're not doing well. They don't have anything that's pulling them out of bed in the morning. Everything's a big push. And we just realized pretty quickly, a few basic questions, they're not in alignment with what they're meant to be doing. Or maybe they're just an angle of their business they didn't see that, is where they should be and where all the money is. Right. But there's a lot of people out there, for some reason, I do attract people who are just, enough's enough, time to make a change. I can't sit in this job anymore. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Yeah. That's probably why I attracted. I don't tell the story much, but I guess there's an energy out there.
Yeah.
You get those people, and to be honest, it is my favorite, because there's nothing better than seeing somebody start a business and start making some income for themselves and finally taking control, not being controlled by an employer, not have to sit in traffic in the morning. That is my favorite, because I love just finding people's superpower, their genius. What are you meant to be doing? However, it's not my target niche, because again, that mental hump, a lot of people want it, but we get on the calls, we get on the discovery calls, and they have that mental block that they're paradigm deep, right? That they've got to have this job, that leaving their job is dangerous to their health and their family, rather than seeing could be blessing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, bound by golden handcuffs, a lot of government workers in this town.
Big time.
They want their pension. They want their benefits.
Ottawa, Canada, folks. Government.
Yeah, fun times. So breaking through those paradigms as well. Yeah. So again, that's a challenge.
Yeah. It's funny how cities carry a feeling, right? Like almost like a vibe of their own, based off of what, the majority of people are actually doing there for a living. You can feel the bureaucracy in a city like Ottawa. You really can. And everyone's talking about security and pension and what you get when you're 65 versus the kind of life you want to lead now and have now. And even if your side business makes you an extra $10,000 a year, but like it's fulfilling.
It's fulfilling. That's just it. It's not about the money. This is a whole other podcast in itself. Right? But when I travel outside the city, it's incredible, the mindset difference. I'm going to go to San Diego. It's going to be totally different mindsets there. Those people, they have no problem spending 30 grand on a program that I'm selling for a third of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just ready to go. It's also a different mentality down in the States too, because it's a capitalist economy, right? And here we're a bit more socialized, so people are waiting for the handout and waiting for people to come save them. Down there, they've grown up. You've got to save yourself. So it's a totally different mentality going into it. I love it. That's more my mindset and where it is. Mm-hmm. I take responsibility. Nobody's coming to save me.
Exactly.
And I think that's going to serve better to everybody in the end, when you have that full responsibility for your life and doing something that's fulfilling every day.
Awesome. Awesome.
I might go out on a limb here.
Sure.
Because in the last couple of days, I've had one more epiphany in narrowing my audience just a little bit further.
Okay.
Which is to female only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are interested in, or you're getting the feedback and you're noticing, are you attracting more females to your business? Is that what you're saying?
500%.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the ratio, you think?
10-1.
10-1.
Yeah.
Guys just don't want to work with you, Jay.
They don't. They don't. I don't know. Like, I guess I'm kind of alpha. Maybe it's a lot of ego, too much ego to handle. I don't know.
I was going to say that. It might be an ego thing.
It could be an ego thing. I don't know. Women just show up. They just show up. They do the work, and I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And the few male clients I've had, they come, but it's sporadic. So a lot of missed meetings. They don't come prepared. It's a last minute. They're not doing the work, and then they're not seeing the changes. And I want people to work with me who are going to get success.
Yeah.
Who really, really want to change. Yeah. Burn the boats, take the island. We're going for this.
Yeah.
And 99% of the females that I work with, they do it and they kill it.
Yeah. A committed woman is a dangerous woman. When they make up their minds,
it's true.
They're serious about it.
Oh, they can run circles around me in discipline on the best of days, and I thought I was pretty damn good.
Yeah. I mean, I've been dumped over my lifetime. I'm sure you have too. And even if you wanted to reconcile, sometimes once their mind's made up, it's made up. But that's interesting. There really is a time and push, and I see women's groups popping up more from the entrepreneurial standpoint, and a cohesive group culture coming out of women in business. And it's very much a timing thing, I think, as well. And, it's becoming more okay and more of the social norm. Less and less people are getting married. Maybe they're in common law situations, less kids as well. People are have you noticed this article? They're talking about people having fur babies instead of actual kids because, both partners are working on business or in the working space right now. So that's interesting to me that you in particular are attracting that. I think there's something to be said to that in a macro sense, that there's this surge in women going out and actually taking the steps to start their own business or become the quote unquote breadwinner or self-reliant or what have you, right?
Well, I think there's a combination of probably multiple things, and I don't want to say anything or too much on this one because I'm only just diving in right now and studying it and trying to figure out why. But I think there's a psychological reason, historically, where women have come from to where they are today, and then as you just mentioned, it just kind of hit me. Yeah, divorce is high. A lot of women have to be super self-sufficient right now. Mm-hmm. They were sold the same dream: grow up, get a job, get married, have kids, and you'd be happy. Didn't work out, and they want to be happy. They just want to be happy, and they know that starting entrepreneurship or a business, getting in alignment with who they are, there's just a lot. I find they're very authentic, and they get a lot more vulnerable with themselves. They allow themselves to go deep. They allow themselves to get emotional, and it serves them. And they realize, hey man, I got one shot on this planet and I want to make it count. And I'm going to step up and do this because no one's coming to save me.
Awesome.
All right. So
yeah, exactly. They're just on board with that messaging, right? Absolutely. There's definitely a generational shift in mindset right now with women versus my mom, for example, or my grandmother as well. There's a huge change there.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, so I'm toying with that idea. I think I'm going to go for it. Not to say I can't work with men.
Yeah.
It's definitely, something that I think I'm going to probably explore deeper, and I could just start throwing out there and again, see how it lands. And that's just entrepreneurship, and that's any business. You got to test the water, see what works. And,
well, that's really what I've gotten from your story so far. And that's what I was hoping to pull out for people listening, depending where they are right now in their decision-making or process. And the type of people that are listening are either sales professionals or entrepreneurs. They're selling an idea, product, or service, what have you. And depending what stage they are with that, you heard it from Jay. He's been through it. He was confident enough to share with us. He lost his home. He lived in his parents' basement twice. Separation, dropping out of school just before graduation. It's just been, your life's been an experiment up to this point. And you're telling me right now you're still willing to go another step further and experiment even further with perhaps women-only business coaching and mindset program. I don't think I've heard of that from particularly a guy either, a male in that space, right? So
build a business that doesn't have competition or very little.
That's it. I haven't heard of that being done. And I think it's bold because what I'm noticing is women empowering women, but who's to say that, you can't either, right? And you're listening to another thing for everyone listening that's important that Jay touched on is he's listening to the marketplace. He told me 10-1 is his ratio right now for women to male clients. So he knows who his customers are. He's listening to his customers. He knows who are the type of clientele he actually prefers working with and seem to be getting better results, which is only going to make his business healthier. So you see, you just got to keep listening. You just got to be an active listener and learner, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that in mind, working with females, my value proposition is that I am going to help female entrepreneurs to become sought after experts in order to command more money and dominate their business market.
Awesome. So see, you wrote that down.
I wrote it down days ago. I was on an airplane.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a notepad. You were taking notes.
Yeah. I write down everything that comes to mind in the moment. So.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Where are these people coming from? Instagram, Facebook? How are you connecting with a lot of these women entrepreneurs?
I'm connecting mainly on Facebook. Okay. I was going down the automation route. I've put that on the back burner, building up just credibility organically, diving into LinkedIn a lot deeper. And really, I've just gone back, put my boots back on and hit the ground. So I took a bit of a hiatus on networking, and literally in the last couple of weeks, just kind of got back into it. And the interesting thing is, the last time I was at a network meeting was, I think, last year. I decided I just got burned out from them. But just putting out all my content online, like I said, I walked into 2 meetings last week and almost everybody in the room knew my name.
Yep.
Knew everything about me.
Yep.
When my house, they know what the inside of my house looks like.
Yeah.
It's getting sold, where I'm moving to, and I didn't know almost anybody's name.
Yeah. That's when you see people throwing out public figure under their Instagram title and stuff like that, that's what it means to be a public figure. It doesn't mean you're Insta famous or a celebrity per se, but you literally are going out there and you're making your life public.
100%.
Yeah.
But combine the two, put the two together, your online presence and your physical presence. Wow. Powerful combination. I've picked up, more clients in the last couple of weeks than I did all last year.
Right.
So
that's, you have a consistent message. People know you for business coaching, right? Mindset coaching. Us coming together for this podcast was the laws of attraction, if you will, right? I mean, we both ended up at the same conference. Clearly, we think alike on different paths, but similar directions, if you will. And someone in your network and my network knew we weren't connected, and we're like, Nate, you need to connect with Jay. And they did it for us because they know what I'm about through my social media and networking. They know what you're about through your social media and networking.
That's the way it works.
So this is exactly how it works, folks. This is how people come together. And you never know who you're going to meet, who's going to add value to your business, maybe become a future business partner, connect you to additional clientele that leads to additional revenue and growth in your business. So you've got to be able to put yourself out there in platforms like podcasting or YouTube or Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Don't be afraid. There's no such thing as overexposing yourself, in my opinion.
100%. A lot of people, even clients, are afraid, I don't want to put on, I don't want to saturate people. Mm-hmm. Do it. It's the try. Yeah, you're going to tune out some people. Fantastic. Tune them out because they're not your ideal client. Yep. And there's a whole lot more people out there listening and watching than you'll ever imagine.
Yep.
Some of the people that I've taken on said, I've been watching you for 90 days, 6 months, and I've never even seen a like or their name.
Yeah.
And I hear this all the time if I go dry for a week or two, whatever life gets in the way and I'm not putting out stuff, I hear about it. I'll come across somebody. Oh, hey, I've been following your stuff for 6 months. What happened? I haven't seen anything in 2 weeks. I'm like, you watch my stuff? Really? Yeah. I had no idea. Like,
it's true.
I don't even see your name out there, but people are watching. So I can't be afraid to get your name out there.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Expose yourself, get over the fear.
Awesome.
We all have it.
Yeah. I've got some nuggets for you on LinkedIn. I leverage LinkedIn with my sales recruiting business. It's probably, it is my primary social media platform for connecting to professionals, right? And I've learned some pretty valuable connection tools. Sounds like business people are your clientele as well, not consumers. So definitely open to sharing some of my tricks of the trade on LinkedIn. It's definitely anyone out there who's B2B, business to business, not business to consumer. You got to live and die by LinkedIn because everyone's resume is right out there. You know exactly what they do. And
I'm on a 90-day LinkedIn commitment right now.
Awesome.
Just go for it. I've started only in the last few weeks.
Yep.
Getting serious about it, change my profile,
yeah,
put out an article every Monday, pull out nuggets from the article and start making posts about each nugget and and duplicate, just more omnipresence in that way, because I hear it's the way to go right now. Listen to some Gary Vee tips and tricks on that stuff. My coach is on my butt.
Yeah.
So we'll see how all that pans out. I'm excited about it. But
should be good.
I think, a lot of people also have, what I'm a big believer in is, people say, well, I put stuff out there online and this is where I was going earlier, but I didn't get anything from it. But I think people are too short-sighted when you're building your audience organically like this. You need to be thinking 60, 90 days down the road. That's where your customer is.
Yeah.
And that's when people are coming out and say, I've been watching you for a while. I have my own clients now. We're together 12 weeks and people are only now reaching out and saying, hey, this resonates with me. Can we have a conversation? I've been watching you for a while.
Yeah. So
people have to get over that instant gratification.
Yep.
And realize that what you're putting out today is your client in 2 to 3 months from now.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people, in the entrepreneur or even salespeople, you've got to be willing to be consistent for a long time. And what seems like losing along the way is really just consistency. And eventually that consistency is going to lead to hand raisers, and those hand raisers are going to become your customers and clientele.
Yep.
So if you're not getting traction right away, like Jay said, it's true. People are watching you and liking your content way more than you're getting. Just because someone didn't take the time to click the thumbs up button on Facebook doesn't mean they didn't see it or didn't notice, and it's not in their back of their mind, hey, when I'm ready, I'm going to reach out to Jay. It's all there and it's happening. So you just got to be consistent with that stuff. Whether you think you're getting traction or not, you can never actually be too sure.
100%. I just got back from a network meeting this morning, and there was one woman. I had met her the last time I went there about a week ago, but we had a little side conversation, and she said she's actually been watching me for 6 months. I didn't even know who she was.
That's awesome.
Before, I've been watching you for 6 months. That your stuff has changed my life. And I'm not kidding. I'm not patting myself on the back. This is actual fact. I have witnesses in the room.
Awesome.
So it's out there. It works.
Yeah. It's all about that consistency, and it's hard. Yeah. And it's hard, right? You're pushing a boulder up the mountain at first, right? Before you really gain that momentum and get it. But if you can stick it out and you're serious about, especially those people moving from full-time employment, trying to get their side business going, if you're really serious about it, you got to stay consistent. And I know that means putting in work after work or before work or on your lunch breaks, but don't burn yourself out, but be consistent, right?
Yeah.
So I made that mistake, maybe, you probably could dissect me a little bit. Like I've made the mistake in the building phase of overcommitting myself, working full time and then working my side business and thinking that I had to hammer it every single night until 10 o'clock at night and then get up at 4 a.m. until 7:30 and then go to work, and like all my weekends pumped into it. And then, it is a mindset thing, because when I'm running at that pace or that clip, I'm feeling good. I'm pushing. But I implode. I burn out. I completely stop what I'm doing, damage the momentum I've built.
It's a double-edged sword. I 100% agree. I haven't put out anything yet this week. Yeah. I've just been busy. I'm getting ready to travel. I've just got a lot of stuff going on, and I can almost feel the momentum around me dying.
Yeah.
Just not being in tune with it, and it's laws of attraction, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm flying high, everything's coming to me. And I have a couple of days off right now where I haven't put anything out, and I feel the energy die around me.
Yeah.
And that's bad for the mindset too, because that can be a vicious circle in itself.
Yeah.
But on your case, definitely double-edged sword, because what do? You have to have that determination. And Gary Vee is going to say, no, you got to stay up till midnight.
Yeah. I know.
And I'm not a big believer in that. I mean, it's only sustainable for so long. And I think it comes down to just, you got to keep up momentum on a daily basis, but just regulate it better.
Gary Vee also looks like he hasn't slept in 6 months.
Exactly. I've never taken the only advice I've ever taken from him is now his LinkedIn advice.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's resonating with me. Before that, I was not that entrepreneur. I'm sorry. I know who I am. I'm not the guy to sit up till midnight. I shut her down at 4 or 5 o'clock, but that's why I do what I do. I want to turn off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and go sit in the hot tub and have a glass of wine, because I'm an entrepreneur and I can.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about it. Awesome. So, maybe I'm a bit more the slow and steady pace.
Yep.
But at least, like you mentioned, I'm aware. I know it's working. I'm listening to the market. I'm not in the Ferrari at the moment going 1,000 miles an hour, but I'm still going uphill.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man, consistency, right?
Yeah.
The tortoise and the hare story, even. Everyone thinks they have to get there and like they have to be successful. And average business, I think they said it could be 2 years. And some people it takes more, some it takes less to be a profitable business. So if you're willing to lose money, in some cases people are losing money. They're investing into the business for the first 2 years just to get it off the ground. You got to be willing to take those lumps. And if you put a lot of pressure on yourself and try to go 1,000 miles an hour and neglect other aspects, including your health, mental health and otherwise, it's really going to slow you down in the long run. So I think consistency over anything, regardless of speed, is probably the most important takeaway on that for sure.
Yep, consistency for sure. Because what's going to do that? You're going to, especially if you're putting out content, you become more credible. It's the know, like, trust.
Yeah.
Even if you turn to automation, people are going to want to know, who are you? Have they? No one's going to pull the trigger and buy a $5,000 program from you if you have no, nothing out there behind it, no substance. So you got to be building that up. And the more you build that credibility, the more clarity you get in your business, as we talk about, when you're paying attention who your customer is and so on and so forth. And then you're just going to, when you really reel that in, become the expert, find your specialty, you become super confident.
Yeah.
And when it happens with confidence, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
You're a sales machine.
Yeah.
You know?
Mindset. Keep that mindset healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Anything else you want to touch on that we haven't talked about?
No, I think we've gone further than I thought we would. So
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. No, it's great connecting with you. Like I said, I've been following you. I don't know how many likes I've given you a few likes here and there.
I've noticed.
Yeah. I spread love. I'm a liker. If I like stuff, I actually hit the button. But yeah, it's great to connect with you and have a chat.
Here's another tidbit.
Yeah.
Because because you notice you've been liking and you're selective about what you like and stuff like that. And a lot of the compliments I've been getting a lot lately is the messaging is on target. It's very pinpointed. It is directed to the people I want to talk to. The one thing I want to put out there for the audience is please start talking to your ideal audience and stop talking to yourself. Because a lot of people are putting out messaging that resonates with them and their network, and their friends are getting a lot of likes, a lot of comments, but they're not your clients.
Right.
You're getting people in the similar headspace as you, and anybody who's in a similar headspace is not going to buy from you. Why would they?
Right.
All right. So just be careful what you're putting out.
I might even heed some of that advice. I've sped up my Instagram, and now I got to reevaluate. Am I entertaining myself? Or am I entertaining my target market? That's something you really got to think about, because we have our own biases even when it comes to the content we produce.
I could sit there and put out mindset quotes all day long, and I'm going to get likes from other people who have a great mindset. Well, if you have a great mindset, why do you need mindset coaching? Mm-hmm. They're right up there. But your ideal audience doesn't know anything about mindset. They don't even know what the word means. Mm-hmm. Right? In some cases.
Okay. Here's one for you. For everyone listening. All right. You put out a good example. Mindset. If you put out mindset quotes, people with healthy mindsets are going to like what you got. And well, they probably need less of your help than someone with an unhealthy mindset with their business, right? So what's an example of something you'd put out to attract someone to your business then?
Pain, agitate, solution.
Pardon me?
Pain, agitate, solution. So what is the pain? Talk to the pain of your customer. What is it they're going through? That's the only way you're going to get their attention.
Yes.
There's a few people you might put out a mindset meme and they go, wow, that talks to me. But that's that's 0.5%.
Yeah.
Right? You got to talk to your customer's pain. Mm. Right?
Absolutely.
And
what marketing book was I reading?
Not even so much the pain they're in, but what are the results in their life from this pain? Mm. So sometimes people don't know they're in pain until you start asking about their results. Mm-hmm. So, are you broke, or, you have trouble paying your bills, and I mean, if you start talking about the pain of like, I'm sad and I'm upset, I'm depressed, that's not going to land. But if you start talking to the results of the pain, are you unfulfilled in your job? Somebody may not even know they're unfulfilled in their job until you start stoking the fire of the results that they're getting in their life.
Yeah.
And then you can go and say, well, that's because you're not fulfilled in your job. That's because you're not fulfilled in your job.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting those results. And I have a solution for that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I don't want to feel like that anymore.
Right. That epiphany moment. Helping people even realize, sparking the thought that'll spark the conversation with themselves. Hey, I need to do something different.
You want people to say, wow, that hit me.
Yeah.
Like awesome. That was me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, Jay. Where do people need to go to connect with you? You got a website people can go to, Facebook page, fan page, group page, anything like that?
Well, I typically like to use my personal page as my fan page, but as usual, I do have a business page. Klassen Official, same thing on Instagram. Don't use it that much. Of course, you can find me on LinkedIn or www.jklassen.com.
Awesome, Jay. Listen, I really appreciate you carving out some time for me. I know you're a busy guy. Hope you found some value in having this conversation with me. and connecting with our audience on the Act Sales podcast. I have a feeling this won't be the last time we have a conversation. Looking forward to connecting with you again, and we'll connect offline as well about some of those LinkedIn tips and tricks that I have for you as well, man.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. And we're signing off. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
No worries. Thanks, Jay.